Hi, this is for memory's sake. This is my father, Arthur John Perry, and I'm his son, one of his sons, Robert John Perry. Today now we're in a marvellous organised event by our chairman, Jonathan Davis, and Gareth Gravel, our director of rugby. What you've done for the report is totally amazing. My father now has have the opportunity to explain to many of the youngsters exactly what went on during the Second World War. So I have this opportunity now with Robert Masterman, who's behind the camera there, who's doing a distinguished job, to ask my father a couple of questions. So Dad, can you remember when you joined up?
Yeah, I was 18 years of age,
43, 42?
No, 46 I think it was.
No, it wouldn't.
No, 43, sorry. 43. Those are the days.
What was the funny story they said to you when they were trying to tell you what regiment to join, or what you had a choice to name, joining the Navy?
Oh yes, they said don't join the Navy because Mountbatten has formed this unit now, which is called Combined Ops, and it'll be rather a rough commando type training and all that. So you just go in the Navy as an ordinary seaman. So that's what I done. But I had 10 weeks training, then I had to leave for 10 days, and when I went back within a fortnight they put me into Combined Ops. So I landed up in there anyway.
And where was the famous place, the training place?
Oh, a lot of places. It just wasn't one place.
Was it HMS Raleigh?
HMS Raleigh was the main depot, you know.
Can you still remember your number?
Yeah, DJX 421-772. Because you didn't have a name then, you only had a number. Those were the days.
Can you remember then some of the stories you say when we went after the training and you picked in with the Combined Ops? That one of the funniest stories is that I used to ask you when I was a child, how did you know where Normandy was during the Normandy Invasion? And you said you used to follow the boats in front. The story is better coming from you.
That's the instructions we had, you know, before the landings. Like, we were on board our craft, which was a Thames barge being converted to 2 brilliant engines in it, and we were carrying fuel for the landing craft, and we were on one of them for a fortnight before DDay, like, and then when we finally went, we had instructions to just follow the craft that was in front of us, you know. And I think it is DDay plus 1 or plus 2 with this storm, and it washed us up onto the beach where we stayed for several weeks.
So we're taking pot shots at the Germans?
Aye, it was laughable, that was really. On the bow of the barge we had a machine gun, you know, and when we were on the beach there, the Jerry's would come over, and I used to get up on the front of this bow with the machine gun, and not the hope in hell of it, you know, but it was just, you know, the thought of
just shooting at them.
Shooting at them, like that.
Well, it's a good job really. It's ironic because if you wouldn't have beached that day, myself and the rest of your family wouldn't have been here, Dad.
Yeah.
Because you probably would have suffered the fate that the rest of the British soldiers suffered that day. So that's ironic. Yeah. Aramanches Beach, yeah.
Yeah.
So after that then, Dad, we actually got a horn that's here tonight now. One of the horns was blown on DDay Beach, as out of the memorabilia there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, when we come back then from that, I thought that would be it, you know. It wouldn't be long now before I get demobbed, but No, they sent me out east then. To Saigon. And I was out there for months and months. That was an experience.
One of the stories we were told is that on one of the training camps, when you had to release the British war camps, before you were presented with your samurai sword, that one of the stories was, it's a horrific story, but one of the stories that you'd mentioned is when you were caught up into the reeds and when you were on camp, is that the Saigon people, with the support of the Japanese soldiers, used to torture their own kind and send them down on reeds on boats to stink out the.
I don't remember much about it, but I don't remember it, to be honest with you.
It was a time when my father, obviously difficulty saying it, but before they relieved the British soldiers in the camps, that during certain stages of defence or attack, then the Saigon people who were support with the Japanese used to perhaps murder their own kind, the elderly people and children, and tie them to rafts and push them down onto the reeds where my father's base was, and then to psychologically to scare them, to get them. It didn't work, but obviously in one of the photographs you got, which is out there now, it was the surrender of the Japanese. It was a time then that one of them had to, one of the biggest humiliations for the Japanese, that they had to surrender their swords. Explain.
This ceremony that I was in, it was the youngest, the lowest ranked British officer was taking the surrender from the highest ranking Japanese officer, and that's how it started. And then they presented these swords. That's where I got mine from one of them. And the army people then just laid down their rifles, and that was that. Like,
is this when that they had to? You said that you were surprised at the size of the Japanese soldiers. You always thought that they were small.
Well, some of them, yeah.
But some of them were quite large.
Yeah. Yeah, they had to walk up and salute the Union Jack.
Yeah, this is important. They had to salute, see, and then they had to surrender their sword to the lowest ranking officer in the navy, which was an humiliation for the Japanese. They would rather have died.
Yeah, oh, I suppose, yeah. Well, the table that our officer was behind was full of swords and all on the floor. And the six of us then got presented with one of the swords. Which is out there today now, for all the public to see. Yeah. And
I won't mention the value of it.
No. If only we knew, like, because the swords that were handed down from family, they were the expensive ones, you know.
The samurai swords, yeah.
And the one I got is a government issue, like, you know. But it's still a Japanese sword.
Japanese samurai sword, yeah. Okay, this is during, so not the war had ended now in May, but you stayed out there for a bit longer, didn't you?
Yes, oh yeah, quite a while longer. Mixing up with the French people then.
Do you remember the actual celebrations of the end of the war? Were you out in the Far East when that was happening? Do you remember being told?
I remember, yeah. But no celebration really. Just glad, you know. That sort of thing was over, like.
And then when you came back to be demobbed back in Portsmouth, then you remember you brought your samurai sword back. Plus, I think Ruben, I think you got a German Luger as well, didn't you?
I had quite a few things from DDay. That was, but they were all taken pinched off the boat.
From the...
From our landing craft that was washed on the beach,
Mm.
and all the trophies in it, we got towed back to this country. But when they took us into the nearest camp then in the Isle of Wight to get refurbished with clothes, I went back to the barge. All our stuff had been gone. The only thing that hadn't was my Japanese sword, which luckily enough I used to put into my hammock and wrap it up, and that's why it wasn't taken, I suppose.
There's another story you were interested in, well, I saw the archives and it's quite prominent really, is that at one certain point you remember that the French ladies, which we won't go too much into detail, used to carry the shopping and the groceries, and then you remember...
I only remember the one coming on the cliff and filing them. That's like from the cliff. Because we didn't really get on with the French people when we first landed there. You know, the girls were quoting German soldiers, like. But it wasn't very long before all that changed, you know.
So what was happening was the French women who were living in the area at the time during DDay, because Germany and the Germans didn't expect an invasion, half of the French women were in partnership with the Germans, and what they were doing was pretending to feed the British troops, and then they had guns inside, and they were shooting at the British troops as well, which is well documented now, isn't it, Arthur?
Yeah.
So anyway, after all that, you remember then being demobbed back in this country, 1946, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I thought, well, I got sent abroad, didn't I, after that, after the D-Day.
Yeah.
I got sent to Saigon. Like.
Yeah, but you were demobbed after Saigon.
Oh yeah, demobbed after Saigon, yeah. And given this horrible suit.
That's right.
But, yeah.
And that's when you came back to become an electrician and joined the band then, is it?
Aye. Yeah.
So what do you think today, what Gareth Gravel and the chairman of Barry John and Davis has done for the memory of Barry Port?
Oh, I think it's brilliant.
In all fairness, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah. It's an amazing
Well,
day.
I was saying
Very
that,
emotional day, and it's just started.
Hopefully nothing like that will ever happen again. Like, it's good that the children learn by this.
I know.
Yeah.
So personally, anyway, Arthur, I think I speak for everyone, and not only on my father. We're very proud to have you here today. Thank you very much for coming. I'd like to thank Mr. Masterman as well, doing a professional job of filming it. It's been a pleasure. And the rest is history. Thank you very much.
Okay.